discussing about the structure of the flower. We have discussed all the parts of the flower and what the functions will be there, what type of changes will be occur, and types of flowers and types of androecium, types of gynoecium. Those all we have discussed already, because flower is the most important part in the plant. It is a reproductive part of the plant. Simply you can say it is a reproductive shoot, modified shoot for reproduction, modified shoot for a reproduction. Sexual reproduction will be taking place in the flower. Okay, as the flower contains all the 4 rows, then it is called as a complete flower. And if both the sexual parts, that is the androecium and gynoecium, or the stamens as well as the pistil respectively, if these 2 parts are presented in the flower, then the flower is called as a bisexual flower. Okay, so for the conducting of the sexual reproduction means combination of male and female gamete, fusion of male and female gamete. So male parent as well as the female parent, that means male plant as well as the female plant should be participated in the sexual reproduction. So with regards of this, the total sexual reproduction in the plant body will be taken place by 2 steps. One is pollination, another one is fertilization. Actually, what is the meaning of fertilization? Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete. Fusion of male gamete with the female gamete, that is called as fertilization. And after the fertilization, the fertilized egg, the zygote, will be produced. So for this fusion of male gamete with the female gamete, compulsory the female gamete is completely sessile in nature. That means it won't move from one place to another place. But whereas the male gametes, that is the pollen grains, can be transported from one flower to another flower. So for the transportation of this, the transporting the pollen grains, for the transporting of the pollen grains is called pollination. The process of transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower, it is called as pollination. Okay, or stigma of the flower, it is called as pollination. So this pollination, our topic today is about the pollination. Today our topic is pollination. Transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the flower. Simple. Transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the flower. This is called as pollination. In this, the pollen grains will be transferred. Where they are producing actually? They are producing in the male gamete, male sexual part, that is called anther. So from the anther to stigma, suppose if you take the flower, the plant like this, suppose this is the plant, this is a shoot system, this is the one more flower, this is another flower. So this is the stigma, this is anther, and this is the stigma, this is anther. Listen, transferring of pollen grains are produced from the anther. Transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the flower. From anther to stigma of the flower is called pollination. Why these pollen grains are transferred? Because pollen grains are male gamete should be transferred to the female gamete, because female gamete is sessile, it cannot move from one place to another place, it stays at one place. So to reach that pollen, female gamete, that is a ovary or ovules, these pollen grains should be transferred from anther to stigma of the flower. This is called as pollination. And based on the characteristics of this pollination, or based on the functioning of this pollination, pollination is of two types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination and cross-pollination. First of all, I will tell you what is the definition of these two. First, self-pollination. Transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of same plant. This is called self-pollination. One more time. Transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the same plant. That means that the plant is having both the flowers, male flowers as well as the female flowers. Where the stigma is presented, that is the female flower. Where the anthers are presented, that is the male flower. Okay. So transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the same plant, that is called self-pollination. This is the one definition for the self-pollination. Another definition. This is the stigma. This is the stigma. This is the stem. This is stigma. This is anther. Look at the book. So one definition I told you for the self-pollination. What is the definition here? Transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the same plant. This is called self-pollination. One type of self-pollination. That is the one definition for the self-pollination. What is the another definition here? Transferring of pollen grains from anther of the flower to the stigma of the same flower. Look at it. Transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the same flower. Anther to stigma of the same flower. That means that the flower should be bisexual. The flower should be bisexual. That means both the sexual parts should be presented in that flower. Like hibiscus, petunia, this all comes under the category of bisexual flowers. Both the male reproductive structures as well as the female reproductive structures, both are presented in the one flower itself. So in such condition, and also this one flower, that bisexual flower, both the sexual parts should be matured at the same time. Should be matured at the same time. At that time only this self-pollination will be occur. Possible. Okay. Transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the same flower. This is the one definition for the self-pollination. Another definition for the self-pollination is transferring of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the same plant. This is called also self-pollination. Okay. Next, come to the cross-pollination. This is the one flower, one plant and one more plant. So here two plants are there. This is the A and this is the B. Simply you can remind it. So the cross pollination means the pollination between the two different plants, two different flowers. See here, transferring the pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower, of another plant of same kind. Once again, don't be confused. The transferring of pollen grains from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the another plant of same kind. The plant should be same species or same type, but the pollination will be occur between the two plants. Anthers are transferred from the pollen grains are transferred from the anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the another plant of same type. So the pollination between the guava plant to guava plant, mango plant to mango plant, neem plant to neem plant, that is called cross pollination. Pollination between the two different flowers of the same kind of plants. It means that this is the male plant and this is the female plant. Where the stigma is present, that is the female, and where the anthers are present, that is the male. Transferring of pollen grains from anther of male plant to stigma of the female plant, flower of the female plant, Otherwise, one more example, one more definition I will tell you. Transferring of pollen grains from anther of male flower to stigma of the female flower of the another plant of same type. This is called as cross pollination. Okay, I hope you understood this one, self pollination as well as the cross pollination. And now we are going to discuss about the self pollination, how it is done in the plants and what are the adaptations are taken by the plant to conduct the self pollination, and also what are the advantages as well as the disadvantages of the self pollination. This we are going to discuss. Self pollination, as I told you that transferring of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the flower, same flower, or anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the same plant. This is the self pollination. Okay, in this, what type of adaptations will be taken place in the plant body to conduct the self pollination? The first one is bisexuality. Means the flower should be bisexual flower. Both the sexual parts should be presented in the same flower. Then the self pollination is possible. And also this bisexual flower, that means the male reproductive structure as well as the female reproductive structure should be matured at the same time. That is called as that is the possibility of self pollination by bisexual flowers, in the bisexual flowers. So the flower should be bisexual compulsorily to conduct the self pollination. Even though if it is a bisexual also, both the sexual parts should be matured at the same time. Okay, and the second one, monoecious plants. It means that the condition of the plant where male flowers as well as the female flowers are presented in the same plant. Male flowers as well as the female flowers should be presented in the same plant. In such condition also the self pollination will be possible. First one is bisexuality, second one is monoecious plants. That means the male flower as well as the female flower should be presented in the same plant. So there the self pollination will be possible. Okay, next third one, homogamy. Homogamy, cleistogamy, bud pollination. So homogamy is also called as zetnogamy. Homogamy is also called as zetnogamy. In this condition, whether the flower is a bisexual flower or unisexual flower. Bisexual flower means compulsorily both the sexual parts should be mature simultaneously, and the unisexual flowers means both the flowers should be presented in the same plant and mature simultaneously, means mature at the same time. Then only that homogamy, zetnogamy is possible. That means self-pollination will be possible. Next, cleistogamy. There are some plants like oxalis, a plant called as oxalis. In this plant, suppose this is a plant, so there will be a flower which is in the bud state. Let me draw clearly. There is a flower which is in the bud state. It is presented underground in the soil itself, and there is one more flower which is in the flowering stage. So in this two types of flowers are presented in the oxalis. One flower is in bud state and another flower is in unisexual flower, and here by this flower cross pollination will be taking place. By this flower cross pollination will be taking place, but here the flower which is presented underground in the soil, inside the soil, it is a bisexual flower, but it is in the bud stage. It is in the bud stage, bisexual flower. So this, in this flower, both the sexual parts will be mature at the same time. At the bud stage only the self pollination will be taking place. This is called cleistogamy. In these two types of flowers are there. One is unisexual flower, another one is bisexual flower, but it is in the bud stage and it is presented underground the soil, that means inside the soil. So here self pollination will be taking place, self pollination, and here cross pollination will be taking place. That is the specialized plant oxalis. Okay, and come to the next one, bud pollination. the pollination which is occur in the bud stage, especially agricultural fields, rice, wheat, bajra, jowar, maize, these all comes under the category of bud pollination. Means at the stage of bud, at the bud stage only, the pollination completely taken place. That is the self pollination. Both these male gametes as well as the female gametes are presented at the same flower. It is in the bud stage. In the bud stage only the pollination will be completed. For the rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, for all these plants, almost agricultural plants. Okay, this is called bud pollination. Understand? No? And next we will discuss about the advantages of the self pollination. Advantages of self pollination. Advantages. The first one, large number of pollen grains need not be produced. That is the one advantage. Large number of pollen grains need not be produced. Large number of pollen grains need not produce. Second one, agents are not necessary. Agents are not necessary. What is the meaning of these agents? Let me explain. Agents are not necessary. Agents, pollen carriers. Agents are also called as pollen carriers. In the time of cross pollination, the pollen grain should be transferred from anther of one flower to stigma of the another flower of the another plant of same place, same kind. So from here to there, the pollen grain should be transferred. Remember, the pollen grains do not have the legs to move, run. So there are some agents like birds, insects, humans and animals. These will carry the pollen grains from one flower to another flower. The pollen, these are all together called as pollen carriers or agents for the cross pollination. So such agents are not necessary here. Okay, and because pollen grains are produced in the same flower and stigma is also presented in the same flower only. So large number of pollen grains need not be produced and agents are not necessary for this self pollination. And third one is no fragrance is necessary. No fragrance. No fragrance is necessary. When the fragrance, good smell, when the flowers are smelling, good smell, then automatically insects, birds and humans, animals will be attracted towards the birds, towards the flowers, and they will catch hold of the pollen grains and carry. But here no such a fragrance is necessary because both will be presented. Pollen grains and ovules are presented in the same flower. No need to go for fragrance or nectar or whatever other additionals for the flower. Additional attractions are not necessary. So these are fragrance-less flowers. Which one? The self-pollinated flowers. Okay. These are the advantages. And also fourth one more advantage. Many of the pollen grains are not wasted. Most of the pollen grains not wasted because less number will be produced and those are all participated in the pollination or fertilization. So those are not wasted. These are the advantages of this total self-pollinated flowers. Okay, one more advantage is there, especially this is very important one. The good characters of the parental plants, the good characters of the parental plants will be maintained from one generation to another generation or from generations together only by self-pollination. The good characters of the parental plants will be maintained from generations together, one generation to another generation. Good characters are maintained. Good characters are maintained. These are the advantages of the self-pollination. Let us see what are the disadvantages. Simply we can say that the disadvantages are what are the bad characters are there and what are the genetic disorders are there in the parental plant. Those will be carried from generations together. This is the big disadvantage by self-pollination. The genetic disorders which are affected to the parental plants, those will be continued, carried from one generation to another generation. That is the one disadvantage. And the second one is, if you go on self-pollinating the flowers, they will lose their good characters. They will lose their good characters. These are the two disadvantages by the self-pollinated flowers. Okay, and tomorrow next video we will discuss about the cross pollination. Okay, thank you.